So we're a few minutes to answer any questions or comments. Let's go.
We have a question. I shower with hot water. Can hot water make it worse, KP?
Look, if you make it super hot,
Yes.
then it's not. That's why, remember, I mentioned lukewarm water, a water that is almost a little bit warmer than what your body temperature.
Comfortable, yeah.
You just don't want to stress your skin. Super hot water is not an ideal thing for your skin.
Because also super hot water is where is this drying? It's super drying.
Yes.
And super hot water is super drying. And the
Yeah.
drier your skin, the harder it is for your skin to shed.
Right.
It needs moisture to also deglue itself.
It stresses your skin. Anything that stresses the skin too much, remember that it's one of the rules, basic rules. Stress causes aging, okay? Inflammation causes aging. That's why we have the terminology called inflammaging. So no stress for the skin is the best thing.
Is there a product you recommend putting on after the shower?
Moisturizer.
Anything that is mildly acidic, that has some lactic acid in it, some glycolic acid, a body cream with lactic acid, glycolic acid, that also has moisturizing capabilities, like it has hyaluronic acid, it has some nice
Beta-glucans.
refattening oils in there, beta-glucans to soothe your skin again. So those are all the ingredients that you can really go after and help your skin to be calm and relaxed and hydrated.
And hydrated and moisturized without an occlusive.
Right.
Because the occlusion is part of the problem,
Yeah.
right?
How often should we use the acids if we have KP?
Depends. Listen, this is a very good question, and it's a tough question. I tell you why. Because it depends what kind of an acid you're using, what is its strength, and what is its pH, okay? All those will determine how often you have to use it. If you use something that is like a glycolic acid at around 8%, or a beta hydroxy that is 2%, you can use it on a daily basis, no problem.
In your wash, and then go
Yeah.
through the chemical and physical exfoliation, and then the hydration. The hydration is very important to do the bit of, don't overhydrate.
Right.
Don't overhydrate. Do a little bit of hydration. You want enough hydration that you don't have dry or flaky skin. But you don't want to overhydrate, because then if this becomes too hard or you feel too sticky or whatever, you're not going to follow through. It's not going to be successful. But start with once or twice a week. Don't make it too complicated for yourself.
Right. And don't expect results overnight. You give it time, because when you set your expectations too high, then you will give up very quickly, okay? Just monitor it, and as long as you're getting the results and it's improving, keep on doing it. It means you're doing the right thing.
Can Isotretinoin help with my KP? I've seen over hundreds of people developing worse KP from Isotretinoin.
Yes.
Okay, yes,
Yes and
yes
no.
and no. It can definitely help, but
But it's the second part of the equation. The
It's-
isotretinoin is causing the exfoliation and dryness. So what are we missing?
moisture, or they're using a formulation that is too aggressive, too strong, and they're using it too much. Okay, so just because somebody used a product and got a negative reaction to it, it doesn't mean that product is bad.
Right.
Did they use the right concentration? Did they apply it properly? Did they overdo it? All those things come into an effect.
I always think about, you have to complete the sequence. You have to complete the loop. So
Right.
if you're doing this, it's like when you're dealing with pigmentation. I always say, you're going to do a pigmentation, you're going to use these ingredients that help with the pigmentation. But if you don't use sunscreen, it doesn't matter what ingredients you use, because you're keeping the opportunity open for more pigmentation. With
Right.
KP, with this, if you're using something that exfoliating and causing dryness or shedding, if you don't actually hydrate and replace
Yeah.
the moisture and balance the acid mantle, it's all going to come back.
Or look, listen, this is what I like these chats, because it always makes us think, okay? So if you're using something that is too strong, not only look at the inflammation component of the equation. But look at what it may do to the root of these hair bulbs. And if it makes it weaker, if it makes it the strength will be half as much. And then it will have a problem. It will have a problem growing properly, and it will cause that problem again. So you need to be respectful of the hair shaft, support the hair shaft, and then also look after the shedding. So it's a delicate balance. You need to look after both to optimize it. Now, I'm going to wait to see if I'm going to get this question asked or not, but I'm going to leave it to the end. But I
Okay.
want to see if anybody is going to ask.
All right. Any more questions?
What would be a good routine to treat KP? I've seen many people recommend salicylic acid cleanser and cream.
Yes, very good approach.
Well, especially if you have oily skin.
Yeah, and as long as the concentration is right and the pH is right, so the concentration should be between 1 to 2%, and the pH should be around 4. Okay, so if you're in that area, those concentrations, that pH range, then you can definitely use it on a daily basis. The only thing that I also recommend is that with the cleanser, cleanse once, and the second time, leave the cleanser on as a mask for maybe 3 to 4 minutes and then rinse it off. That will also help you get better results.
Yeah, because when you do the first time, you're kind of cleaning it up. And then
Yeah.
the second time, you're allowing a bit of penetration to go a little bit deeper. Therefore, it's like when you have a stain or you have something sticky on a table and sometimes you wipe it, you can't really get rid of it. So you need to like soak it for a minute
Yeah.
and then it could come off. Right? This is what we want to do with our skin as well. We've got to treat it. Sometimes time is important with these ingredients to allow the ingredient to get in there and dissolve and do what it needs to do.
What Isomers products work for KP?
Daily exfoliating cleanser with tea tree, the hammam scrub,
Copper P
gommage,
for inflammation.
the copper P, the hypochlorous acid, the triactive microbiome. Shall we, our body washes when we have them, when they're all gone now, but we're gonna bring all of that back.
Right.
But we could do, we could do a KP routine. We
Right.
should show
We
people.
can actually put a KP routine and post it for you, so you know exactly what to do.
Oh, the age antidote, the glutathione cream, amazing for KP, for body, and the NutriBody. Such
Can
good.
you use kojic acid with BHA and AHA to treat KP, or it's too aggressive for the skin?
Well, the kojic acid is really
Not
a
for
good
pig-
ingredient for pigmentation. But remember, when we're talking about that blotchy red skin, that is not pigmentation.
No.
That is redness. That's irritation. So for that purpose, there's no room for kojic acid. You don't need that.
So if you're dealing with hyperpigmentation and KP at the same time,
Then-
that could be a good blend. It's a
Yeah.
good opportunity. But the kojic acid isn't key for KP at all.
No.
Are we wrapping up?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what was the question you thought no one's going to ask? Do you remember?
So what if my question is going to be, I want to see the answers. What happens if we do laser hair removal? How is that going to affect our KP? I want answers.
Anybody know?
Waiting.
Laser hair removal and keratosis pilaris. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
They're putting this on.
Yeah, what does that mean? It's a bad thing?
Think. What is keratosis pilaris?
They're saying bad thing.
I think it's
No
a very
fat?
good thing.
Good.
I think it's perfect thing.
If you have no hair, you have no KP.
It's perfect thing.
Okay? Remember, this only, and next week, I'm going to give you a little bit of because a lot of people mix up KP with milia. So
And strawberry
different.
skin.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's to Darish's point. So I used to have I not very hairy, but if I waxed or shaved, I would end up with it was just terrible. It was
Right.
just remember I was all bumpy, rashy, everything. Over 20 years ago, I did the laser
Right.
for 3
And
treatments for my
KP is
laser.
gone.
Nothing. Not
Yeah.
a hair, not a KP. And it was like magic. So you really can see, especially in the calf area, whatever. And you'll notice in areas where if you rub the skin a lot that there's no hair, maybe it's worn down from certain reason. Maybe you have KP all around, but in some certain spots it's a little bit more balding. That's because the hair is gone in those areas. And the KP
And there's
goes
a
away.
reason for that hair being gone. We talk about that in another show.
That's
It's
why
not
thread-
just a lot of people think that it's just a friction. It's not just a friction.
But this
it's
is
a skin
also
issue.
this is also why threading is actually very good, right? Because threading,
It takes
unlike
it from the
waxing,
root.
threading takes it from the root, and threading actually takes those really fine, invisible
Yeah.
hair out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's those little teeny fine ones that really create the KP. It's not those thick, dark ones. A lot of times it's the little teeny fine, fuzzy ones. So when you do the threading, especially when you do, you can see that the skin is very smooth because it becomes very clean. But even after you thread, though, then you have to hydrate because as those hairs come back in,
You have to be careful.
this is also why hair, see, this is interesting. Maybe we could talk about this too. When hair is left on its own to grow out, it grows out in a point, right? It's almost like this point pushes its way up through. But when you shave, it's flat. Now it's harder for it to come up. And
Yeah.
it could get tripped up. This is why taking it out by the root is always a lot smoother in the skin. Anyway, was that anything more questions and comments? Anything else?
I
Remember
don't know.
Next week for the
More
math?
questions?
I think we're
They
good. Oh,
want
one
a
more.
KP routine from you.
A KP.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna film that.
We will film that. We'll do a
What's the
step.
difference between strawberry skin and KP?
Oh, that's the completely different story. We put a show completely for that. That is basically broken blood vessels under the skin. It happens where you have no hair. KP is caused. The main reason of it is because of this hair shaft being trapped. The other one is broken blood vessels underneath the skin. We can get into that later as well.
And the visibility through
Yeah.
more fragile
Yeah.
skin, and you're seeing it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this skin lesson on KP, chicken skin, Keratosis Pilaris. We look forward to your questions and comments. Be sure to tell the world about us every Thursday. We're going to be here live with another skin lesson. And you can
I want to
follow
know
us-
your favorite topics.
Oh, yes, we
Favorite
will follow-
topics.
we're
Don't
taking
forget
requests.
about your favorite topics.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.